only emotion that I can do well is anger.
That's all of us. That's all we can do is anger. But that's the awesome thing about therapy and shit like that. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. This is another episode of Vet Sequence with your host, Addy Half. And with me always is my producer, Atlas. Today's our special episode. We have a former a veteran that also deployed with us to Afghanistan, but is also has deployed to Iraq as well. So today we're going to get into his pain and hear his stories, how he came into the Army, and what he went through afterwards with mental health issues and stuff like that. So Khoshi, why don't you go ahead and get us started with how you got into the Army?
Well, I was heading down a wrong path in life, doing a lot of stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Um, Me and a buddy of mine had been up for a while. Decided to turn on the TV. Saw an Army commercial. Both at the same time looked at each other and said, "Hey, we should go enlist." So we enlisted.
Okay, so then what was that was just it? Just TV
No,
commercial, enlist.
well, we had been playing video games for probably a few days.
Okay,
Um,
so when you get to the recruiter's office, what is he trying to sell you right off the bat?
Nothing really. He's just trying to get us to sign up. I mean, we were trying to get sign-on bonuses, trying to get, the usual stuff. Um, Neither one of us were sober. Neither one of us were sober when we went and took our ASVABs. Uh, so, needless to say, neither one of us got a sign-on bonus.
That shit happens.
Um, my first MOS was 21 Whiskey,
Which
carpentry,
is
carpentry masonry specialist. I did that for 5 years. That took me to Iraq 06, 07, and then Afghanistan 09, 2010.
and then another one 2012, 2013 with us with the transportation company.
At that point, I had reclassed to an 88 Mike.
Truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Equipment operator.
heavy equipment, whatever, dude. Truck driver. So let's back up and talk about your experience jumping into the Army. How was basic for you? Where'd you go?
Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Okay.
Basic was rough the first couple weeks. With the whole detoxing and everything. But after that, dude, I ate well, I drank well, I slept well. When they say they only have to give you 4 hours of sleep and it doesn't have to be consecutive, they meant that. But I was used to the no sleep part by then.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now, after you get done with basic, where's your EAT for carpentry masonry?
Gulfport, Mississippi, right after Katrina.
Oh shit! So you actually
Yeah.
might have. Damn, dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How was
We got
that?
forced
Did you get to see anything?
We went to the beach on one of our little day passes, and there was a big ass boat stuck on the sand. Other than that, no, we went to a mall and got drunk.
Just walk around the mall having a good old day drunk. There ain't nothing
Yeah,
wrong
but
with
there was
that.
only like three stores open.
Oh fuck! Work with what you got, I guess. So now, first duty assignment. Where do you head to?
Back to Fort Knox.
Back to Fort Knox. There you go. And who'd you get attached under?
20th Engineer Brigade, 19th Engineer Battalion.
Nice. And then
The
how
Sea
long?
Horses.
How long
SA
before? Oh, yeah. Anyways, I'm a chemical warrior, so your propaganda doesn't bother me. um, so after you get to your unit, how long till you guys push off to Iraq?
Yeah, I got to my unit. I want to say very, very, very early 06. Talking like January time. We left August 06 to go to Iraq and came back November 07.
Mm. That's a lengthy deployment there.
Yeah, 15 months.
Do you guys got stop lost when you were there?
I don't think they called it stop loss. I think they called it we're fucking you in the ass.
Well, yeah, you did sign your life away. So when you get there, did you guys go through Manas for the in processing, or did you guys just go straight into Iraq at that time?
I think we either, I want to say Bagram.
Bagram, okay.
I know we were in Kuwait for like 2 or 3 weeks. After that, I want to say Bagram, but Manas sounds familiar.
Well, Manas is where we went before we went to Afghanistan. Man's
Yeah, no, I went.
ass.
Yeah, no, I went to Bagram for Iraq then.
Okay. So then let's talk about your deployment. What kind of stuff were you seeing? What was your job over there? What did you do?
So before we even got boots on ground, we were told we were supposed to go over to in Iraq, go all to go to all the fobs, the little ones, the big ones, the ones way out in the middle of nowhere, and build them up. HQs, talks, fucking defects, barracks, all that stuff. When we get boots on ground, they tell us, "Hey, your job has changed. You are now filling IED holes with concrete and chicken wire on the main supply routes."
Oh shit. Okay.
So we no longer were carpenters. We were using our masonry stuff. Masonry.
Masonry.
Masonry. Masonry.
Masonry. Yeah. Okay. So talk about that. Did you guys? Did you? What was that like working out in the middle of nowhere, fucking just filling holes in roads?
At first, it was weird because I mean, you get out there and it's quiet as hell. Then you hear a couple of pop shots, and you'd always be pointing your weapon at somebody. I was a gunner for most of that. I was a gunner on a Humvee for most of that 15 months.
What was your
Um,
weapon?
I had a 240 at one point. I had a couple of
Oh.
50 cals. I carried a 249.
Oh yeah, that's my baby, dude. I miss the saw. I miss it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's my favorite out of all of them.
So did you end up getting to squeeze off any rounds at anybody or no?
There was one time we were in Skunyan Circle, Bakuba. We were in Bakuba, and we were on top of this building. It was a three-story building that the IA were using as their headquarters, and we were building them turrets to fire from, like for security. And as we're up there moving shit around, we start getting pop shots from the ground. Well, I was told, "Hey, go throw your weapon over the side and start firing." I run over there. I throw my weapon over the side. I see a foot go behind a Connex, and that was it.
Oh,
We did get to shoot. I don't know what the fuck was going on at this point. There was a building. I think we were getting shot at from this building while combat engineers were putting in C4 to blow it up, to level it. Fucking Blackhawk came in, dropped a couple of Hellfires.
ooh.
Uh, I mean, you had 7 trucks lining this way and 7 trucks lining this way. Everybody opened up on this fucking building.
I bet you that's something you'll never forget.
Yeah, there's a video of it somewhere on YouTube, I think. So after that, they blew the charge, and I mean, we were all in the same spots we were when we parked there and started firing at this building. The coolest thing I'll ever remember, after it was like, I want to say 10 minutes, maybe 15, I'm not sure. But after that little firefight, uh, watching that building get leveled, they hit the charge, and you see this shockwave just like come at you, and like all the brass in my turret, you can see it go.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
I felt it go through me, and right after that was done, dude, it was like the adrenaline dump wore off.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I'm sitting up there high as fuck right now, just
Oh yeah. Oh man, that'd be so cool to see. The only thing I got to see like that is when they would get a bunch of cache. They'd find a cache of weapons in Afghanistan. They would blow it up right outside on the other side of the wall in our by our motor pool. And shit, it wasn't even. They were probably like 3 miles away, but you could still hear it and feel the little shock wave that we felt. But I can't even imagine being next to a real shock wave like that.
oh, it was nice.
That's nice.
Fucking nice.
So then, you guys, did your unit experience anything serious? I mean, did you guys have any deaths in the company or anything like that?
So we got hit a lot by IEDs. It was never my truck. It was always the truck in front of me or the truck behind me. A couple of guys got shrapnel like in their hand, or we drove away with busted windows and shit like that. Um, we were on the ground one day, and one guy got nicked by a round right in the leg. He was standing there. They heard the shot, and he didn't feel it at first. And somebody said, "Hey, man, you're bleeding." He said it was like his leg just went numb. He
Yeah,
couldn't run. He couldn't walk. But I mean, it just grazed him.
that's
Um,
crazy.
I think the last 2 weeks we were in country, we lost a lieutenant. They were in a LMTV. They straddled an IED, and from what I understand, it launched the cab up. And when the cab came down, it slammed so hard that he broke both his femur bones and it severed his femoral arteries.
Holy
Uh, he,
shit.
yeah, he bled out.
God damn. That's pretty intense.
Yeah.
So now talk about the return of the first deployment and like that mindset that you're in. Like, I'm the king of the fucking world and I have money. I'm gonna go fucking party.
Well, see, no, I didn't have money because I had a wife that cleaned out my account at the time. That was my first wife. Um, yeah. So I came back with maybe $4,000.
God damn. After 15 months, that's a lot of money that she took away, man.
Yeah, I should have came back with like 56,000 or some shit like that if I didn't spend a dime. Something.
God. So is the do you notice a mental health shift in the unit once upon return, like trying to integrate back into garrison and stuff like that?
Oh yeah. Everybody, I mean, we're still all on point. I mean, we just spent 15 months driving all the main supply routes, shooting at people, getting shot at, getting blown up. Like I said, the last 2 weeks was that fucking shit week because we lost somebody. Um, one of the medics that was with us, she was the one that held her thumbs on or her hands in dude's thighs, like trying to keep him from bleeding out. She was fucked up, and yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody just drank heavily. Nobody really talked about it. It was like, you hear these dudes come back from World War II and Vietnam, they don't talk about shit. It was just like that. Nobody talked about anything. We all just drank.
Well, that's what we're taught to do. At least the lower level side of the military, like us, is we're under the vision or under the false pretense that if we say something about our mental health being in jeopardy, that we get a black mark on our record, and then when the leadership sees that black mark, you're now labeled a trouble child. You know.
Yeah.
So it's rather take care of the pain, drink it away instead of actually dealing with it.
We did have like 4 or 5 dudes off themselves or overdose, coming back partying pills. One dude hung himself. One dude blew his fucking brains out. Uh, One guy shot his wife in the face and then turned the gun on himself and shot himself in the head in front of his wife's mom.
Jesus. And did you have any connections with these guys that committed suicide upon return from deployment?
Yeah, they were all in the same company I was in. Not the same platoon, but same company.
But I mean, did you have like a personal connection, even though they're in your company?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I
And
could probably tell you all their names.
and then so what did command do when these people are just dropping like flies from suicide? Like what is their plan? What do they do?
I can't even remember. It was probably something stupid like suicide prevention or sexual harassment prevention or some shit like that. Sharp training or some shit.
Yeah, well, they're good at that. Well, fuck. So then how long are you back before do you switch duty stations now before you deploy a second time or what's going on?
From Fort Knox, I went to Fort Benning.
Georgia.
I think, yeah, I think I was part of the. No, it was the 70th, 15th. It was still the 19th. The 19th moved. Like, okay, so we had the 15th, the 76th, and the 19th in Kentucky. I think the 15th and the 76th stayed in Kentucky. 19th went to Georgia, went to Benning.
Okay. And you went along with it.
Yeah, I went with 19th.
Okay. And then how long are you in Georgia before they send you back or to Afghanistan for the first time?
They got PCS middle of beginning or middle of '08, and then we left. I want to say October '09.
So now back up and let me ask you, are you noticing any mental shifts upon return from deployment? Like now that people are killing themselves, like how's your feeling when you hear news that these guys in your company are committing suicide?
Honestly,
Yeah,
that's a bitch move.
that's a bitch move. Yeah. See, that's the stigma that surrounds suicide. You're not man enough. He wasn't
I
man
mean,
enough to handle it.
all these dudes that I deployed with. I mean, we'd all go hit the gym. We were all like fucking gung ho about getting out there and fucking loading up our weapons and fucking getting ready. We come back and fucking people dropping. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it had to do with like marital status and
Oh yeah, Dear
uh,
John letters and shit like that. Yeah.
coming back and finding your house cleaned out, shit like that.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, that's just something that a lot of people don't talk about is the spouse side of the military, how they have so much power, even though the soldiers are the ones that go get sent to die. Anyways, so are you noticing personally a shift in your mentality going
Yeah.
on and stuff like this? So what has changed now after the first deployment?
I don't trust very many people. I don't like people walking with their hands behind their backs. I'm looking at like people's hands whenever they're walking up to me. I'm like, up and down, fucking checking them out up and down, making sure that there's no weapons. I mean, it's weird. I come back from this shit and all of a sudden I'm like super vigilant.
Yeah, everybody's an enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's a potential threat, rather. Yeah. So paranoia kind of set in then through whatever you experienced over there. Just pretty much a blanket of of not being trusting in your environment anymore. You don't feel safe, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's no
Okay.
longer my environment. I just spent a year and a quarter in another world. So
Can
I
you
come back to this.
can
Well,
you talk about coming back and after the first deployment and driving on the road? Did you have any flashbacks or
yeah,
PTSD driving down the road?
not flashbacks or PTSD, but the same maneuvers that we'd use on the roads over there, like going under bridges, going across bridges, um, seeing vehicles come up to me or pulling up to a vehicle next to a light. All I did was the same thing I did in Iraq: going across a bridge, going under a bridge.
Yeah. And then now you're getting ready to ramp up. How are your relationships? Do you have like a set of brothers that follow you from Kentucky to Benning?
Yeah, there's a handful.
There's a handful. Okay. And how is that? Is that relationship still strong prior to the
Yeah,
second deployment?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I
And
mean, because we
now,
all know each other. We've already spent 15 months literally fucking right next door to each other, like
yeah, living in hell
living.
together will build fucking a strong bond.
Yep.
So now you're going into your second deployment. Where do you go in Afghanistan?
I want to say Kandahar,
Kandahar. Leatherneck?
Leatherneck.
That was us. That
Okay,
was six
then
six.
it was Kandahar. We were in Kandahar and some little podunk fob front neck,
Front neck.
which
So you're forward operating base. You're way out there.
yeah, which is now I believe, or it was when we left, fob spiker, striker,
I
fob striker.
I remember seeing Frob Striker on a map.
Uh, we got there and started building stuff up. We didn't really go out the wire too much then. We did take a lot of mortars.
How was that? How was experiencing that for the first time?
Well, that wasn't the first time. Iraq was the first time I ever saw mortars, but we got a lot more mortars in Afghanistan. Uh, RPG rounds. There was this one time. There's this big square behind our tent that we were living in. It's where all the porta shitters are. So you got a tent here, and a
Yeah.
tent over here.
Yeah.
And in between there, there's the porta shitters here, right?
Yeah.
There's another tent somewhere like back here or whatever. So I'm walking this way. This is hard to explain with like cigarettes and fucking
Yeah. Go
lights.
ahead. Go ahead.
Walking this way from the porta shitters to go back to my tent, and I don't think I had my weapon on me at that time. Anyways, you hear this little boom in the distance, right? And I'm like, oh, that's funny. That's cute. That's a nice little sound. And then I hear this over my head, literally, and everybody that was around me that day and like on that fob that day, we had dudes standing on top of 6-foot Hescos. This fucking RPG round comes 10 feet over my fucking head, hits the top of a T-wall, and bounces and blows up outside a post, over the female's tent and everything.
You shit your pants?
Fuck yeah. First thing I did, like, as soon as I saw that shit happen and I heard the boom after it fucking bounced and then fucking hit off post, I was like, where's my fucking weapon? Ran in to get my weapon, ran into the girls' tent, was like, get the fuck down. They're fucking blah, blah. Yeah.
As soon as you just head back into the bathroom.
Yeah, I should have. I needed to clean my pants up after that.
So something that I didn't ask about Iraq, but Iraq or Afghanistan, since we are jam packed together and pretty much live with each other for 24/7. Let's talk about the alone time that we're afforded in the Porter Johns and what's inside of the Porter Johns.
The spank banks, man.
Oh yeah, that was a private masturbation chamber right there.
Yes, sir. If you see the light on in the porta shitter at night, you know what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
They ain't on the phone. They ain't looking at fucking, pictures and shit. No, they're.
Oh yeah. When we first got to, like, it was like 2 or 3 months after we got to Afghanistan, when we were still going to the motor pool in full battle rattle, that I got done doing something in the arms room and I was in full kit and I was like, dude, I gotta whack off because I was getting like really aggressive. So I went into the porta potty. Luckily, somebody had some really good drawing skills, and that's all it took, dude. I was in there fucking sweating my ass off, just water going down my face, just
The old whack shack.
The whack shack, yeah. Yeah, we had a roommate, you know who I'm talking about, my soldier, that would wake up at 5:30 every morning and wake everybody up in our little yeah. It's like, dude, stop fucking touching your dick. We're trying to sleep. Yeah. So then, Afghanistan. What kind of stuff did you guys get into in Afghanistan? Like serious stuff? Did you see action?
Just fucking incoming.
Just incoming. But even then, what was the drill set in place that if you guys did have incoming, what would you do?
Hit a bunker.
Just a concrete bunker.
Concrete. Yep.
Yeah. You guys didn't lose anybody the second deployment?
No, but the striker guys, once the Canadians left and it was no longer Frontenac, the striker guys came in, and them motherfuckers, they lost in 2 months. I think they lost like 30 people.
Holy shit!
They were going out and they'd come back fucked up, dragging like parts and pieces in. They didn't last very long. They lost, I think, 30 people, and then they redeployed. They went back home.
Well, dude. I would hope that the command would be smart enough to fucking get everybody out of there with that kind of tragedy going on. You can't fucking focus on a mission if you got people dropping like flies. So now you come back from Afghanistan. What year?
2010.
2000.
Actually, I came back early because that was my first attempt to, actually first and only in the military attempt to clock out, to punch out.
What do you mean?
I ate a bunch of Lunesta.
So
I was having a rough time with the wife, and
is this the second wife?
Yes.
Okay. Lunesta, and that's what? That's sleeping, isn't it?
Yep.
Isn't that? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So what was going on at that time that was too much for you to handle?
a lot of arguing and shit. A lot of, and I was deployed. I was already away from home. I was already, not all of that there.
Yeah.
So all the arguing like daily, like really wore on me. But it was all my fault. I started all the shit. I cheated.
Yeah.
I brought it on myself. But I pulled the bitch move,
What's the
and
bitch move?
I tried to off myself.
I don't see it as a bitch move, man. Sometimes life
I
just
did.
gets too heavy.
To me, it is. I mean, like I told you, you asked me earlier, and I still, even to this day, even though I've even tried it, it's to me, it's a bitch move.
I feel you. I feel you. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion on the topic. I just, from my experiences, it's like I said in my first one, it's always been a solution for me. A way to stop
Long
the
long
pain.
term solution to a temporary problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, until they fucking bring you back with fucking paddles, and you're back to hell again. Anyways, so did you get any help or treatment after this little episode?
I had to do counseling for like uh, 3 months in the WTU back in Benning.
What's WTU?
Warrior transition. No, it was WCU something. It was mental health pretty much.
Okay. And what did they
Like
do for that 3 months?
I had to sit in groups and say, hey, pretty much like AA.
Yeah.
I think I still have my ID badge from that little stint.
I still have my intake photo that they took of me when I got locked up in
Charlie.
9 Charlie. Yeah. Yeah. My wife keeps it in her wallet. Yeah. They were like, this is your intake photos, and they had me like hold a little sign too. It's like a prison sign. And they were like, try not to look happy. And I just smiled. I was just taking pictures, because I was all fucked up. But so group therapy, did it help? Did you notice anything? Did the stories from the others help you at all? Or
Hell no, man. I mean, it was just like I said, it was just like AA. You go there, you say your name, you say what happened. I mean, you talk to a counselor one on one for a while. You know what to say to get them to let you out.
of course, you say anything to fucking get back to normal day. So nothing took hold, and then let's jump after your treatment. What's now? How long till you go to Germany? Or you
You
got to
got
reclass first.
Yeah, I had to reclass first. Went to Leonard Wood, Missouri
Ooh, lost in the
for
woods.
for I think 4 weeks.
That's it for AIT? Oh, yeah, prior service. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to be op for like 3 of those weeks,
That's awesome.
training all the new soldiers. I got to blow them up. I got to shoot them. Hell yeah.
That's so cool, dude. Op 4 was one of the best jobs in the army, man. And I always got to play Op 4 because I was the armor. So I always got to play Op 4. It was awesome. Um, so now you reclass. You're now 88 Mike, heavy equipment operator. And then do you get your orders before you're done with the reclass or with the AIT, or do you get them after like everybody else?
I think it was either right at the end or it was once I got back to Fort Benning.
Okay, so you come down on orders and you're going to Germany and you're taking your wife and the chillins with. What's the how's the household handle the information? Are you taking them across country or across the world?
There's excitement, a lot of excitement, brand new to everybody. Um, but there's also like, I guess, sadness because see, at this point, I'd already been away from home, been away from my family for like 5 years. She's always been a homebody. She was always, around home, never really got too far away from home. So that it really ate on her, like being over there so far away, it's a different time zone, literally 1,000 miles away from home. It ate on her real big.
Okay, so how did that start becoming a problem? Like, how did that start?
Well, she fell into depression, but not like suicidal or nothing. But her being depressed ate on me as well because there was nothing I could do, really to make her smile. So finally, it was she wanted to go home. Well, I mean, I wasn't going to keep her there. I mean, I saw how miserable she was. I can't really remember too much. Uh,
Why?
why? Are you asking why? Or are you saying I
Yeah.
can't?
No. Why can't you remember so much?
Because it was all just like it's all one big blur now.
Yeah.
I mean, it was she stayed for a year and a half. She fought it out for a year and a half, and then it just got too much for her.
What month did you come to K Town?
Motherfucking December 31st.
Ah.
We get dropped off in fucking Vogelway in a hotel. Just dropped off.
Hmm.
Didn't have anybody tell us, hey, this is where you go for food. This is how you get this. This is how you get that. Nothing.
Yeah. I had the same
Lived
experience.
with my wife and two kids
Hmm.
and a dog.
Oh, yeah. So now you do your in processing and you hit the company what about mid January?
Yeah.
Okay, so shit, you didn't get there too long before I did because I got there April 2011. When did you get there? May 2011. May. Oh shit, we all came around the same time.
No, I came way before y'all. 4 months. That's a quarter
That,
of a year.
that's not that fucking long. That's not that long. It's not
Say that
that.
say that when you're 12 months into a deployment, they say, hey, we're adding on 3 months.
Yes. Okay. Point taken. Yeah. uh. Okay, so you and the family now have a place on Volgaway, and you're
No, no,
travel
no,
commute.
no, no, no.
No,
We're in a hotel room on Vogelway.
no. I mean, after in processing and stuff like that, how long does it take you to get a house?
Um, we in total we were in that hotel room for a month. Got a
Oof.
house in got a house in Denzenberg for about 6 months.
And
That
you
was
had,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, wife loved it, kids loved it. Fucking TV, couches, beds, our own rooms,
Mm.
and beautiful scenery.
Oh, of course.
Around the around the corner was the bakery, the meat market, the everything.
That was your favorite place to go, wasn't it? The meat market. uh, yeah. So everything is going good in Denzenberg. So
I can't
now,
remember. I can't remember why we left Danzenberg, but then we moved back onto Vogelway into the apartments.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure right around that time is when we met because that was around the same time that I got in charge of the arms room, and that's when we became friends. Is because I don't know, I can't remember how we met each other. Do you?
Because I'm an asshole.
Maybe,
I don't know. Probably it's something like that, or we
probably.
were drinking.
I didn't drink too much, so it couldn't have been that.
I drank like a
But
goddamn fish.
well, I know you did. So now you're on Volgaway, and how long until the wife and the kids leave?
I want to say it was like a month or two before we deployed.
Oh wow, that late?
No. It was a year and a half. She stayed about a year and a half, maybe a little over. Um, Shortly before we deployed. You remember I had bought that Jeep,
I remember
and
that
right?
because I remember coming to Volgaway to help you paint. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember like how how soon before we deployed she left. It wasn't too long before we deployed because I was in the barracks. I was in the barracks for at least a month, maybe a couple of weeks before we actually deployed.
Yeah. And shortly before that is when you had your kids on post or something, and I was working in the arms room, and I gave your kids the
The tour of the arms room.
the tour of the arms room. I had your son hold the
They
nine
fucking
mil
loved
mil.
it. They still talk about that shit.
the fucking fake grenades and shit, the dud
Yep.
grenades and 249
They
M16.
still talk about that shit to this day.
That was awesome, man. He was eating that shit up too. He loved it. Yeah. So pushing now, family's gone, and we're now getting ramped up to deploy with the old raise up squad. Yeah. So
Yeah.
now you're in the barracks. Talk about how the change of pace from having a family there and being a family man, and then you have nothing after hours. You know, you have a barracks full of people, but you don't have your family.
In class 6, right around the corner.
And class six is where you buy your alcohol. So
That's where I stayed for a majority of it, and I got a lot less sleep than I did in basic because I was trying to stay up to talk to them while they were, back in South Carolina or Georgia. No, she moved back to South Carolina. Trying to stay up to talk to them, and then having to get up early for PT, doing PT, work call, all that. Go eat chow, back on the phones till it's time to go to sleep. Stay on the phone as long as I could. Talk to kids, talk to wife, then drink.
yeah. And I think me and you really started to become really good friends once I got my NCO room after I picked up my corporal stripes. And I had everybody over there. That was the party room. That's where everybody would meet up, get fucked up.
Remember the snack night?
Oh, that was the night before deployment. Was that you that belly crawled all the way to the guard shack with the fireworks? I think it was you, dude.
I think it was.
All right, so the night before we deploy, we're told to go to bed. We have a curfew because we're leaving the next morning. Well, me, Khoshi, Shorts, Casey, and my then girlfriend, but now wife, we get fucked up, and it's like fucked up, like super fucked up. We go
I woke
down
up at 5, packing my bag to be deployed, still fucking drunk.
We were on a rampage and hungry, so we all the dudes went down to the snack machine, and we flipped the snack machine upside down and got all the snacks out of it. And then we thought it'd be a good idea to go fuck with the pawns guards, the civilian guards that guard the base. And there's a building, and then there's a long open, I'd say about 50-yard open area, open field, and then there's the fence to the post. Directly on the other side is the guard, the pawns guard tower building, whatever. Well, Khoshi fucking is so fucked up, and we find fireworks, and he belly crawls for 50 yards up to this other fence, starts lighting firecrackers and throwing them at the fucking security guards. Oh man, that was such a good night, dude. Yeah,
Fun times, fun fucking
times. Well, that was the infamous night of the couch fire.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that night.
Yeah, because it was my fucking arms room that smelled like burnt leather and asshole. So
was I with you? Was I with you when I peed in the fake plant, telling somebody I had to water it?
Yes, that was me. So now we deploy, and prior to deployment, you're getting noticed as a quote unquote problem soldier because of height and weight standard and PT, physical training and stuff like that.
And on top of that, I'm on several different mental meds, psych meds. Yeah, I was on like 500 milligrams of trazodone a day.
Jesus.
Not to go to sleep. I was taking them. I was told to take them throughout the day. I was on Abilify. I was on Zoloft. I was on Prozac at one point, I think. No, I got Prozac when we were downrange, and that's when that little short fucker.
No names.
I know. That little short fucker.
Yeah.
I told him I just don't feel right in my head. When we'd walk into the fucking game room, or where all the fucking video games and shit are.
Yeah.
The lights above, they would like shake whenever I was looking at them, or when I wouldn't look, they would shake. And I was like, dude, I'm on a brand new medication. I don't feel right in my head. I don't feel right at all to
Yeah.
go out. And I don't give a fuck. You're going out. That's what started me. I think not. No, I didn't like. I didn't like him from the first time I met him. But that's what pushed me over the edge with him.
Yeah. Because what mission? Well, that's just our company was so fucked up and so corrupt that it didn't matter how many mental health problems we had in our unit. They were going to use every fucking sling and dick to fill their quota. I mean, look at there was two mechanics that got sent downrange with severe PTSD and then had to get shipped back because they have severe PTSD, but they deployed them just to get their fucking quota up, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we get to the end of deployment, and what's his face shoots himself. Where are you at that time?
Sitting right next to the fucking Connex.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, I was like literally less than 5 feet from him.
In that area where you had between mine and the armorers, there was a smoke pit area with a
Yeah.
canopy on it.
Yeah, I was sitting on the other side of the wall that he shot himself behind.
Huh.
Inside the Connex, I was sitting on the other side of the Connex on the outside smoking.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when you heard the gunshot?
Did a round just cook off? Because it was hot that day. It was
It was
really
super fucking hot.
So I thought rounds were starting to cook off. I get up and walk around and see, who coming out like covered in shit, and
Yeah.
I see old boy slumped over. I'm like, well, fuck. Huh. That sucks.
And
then I hear, form up over here. Everybody get your asses over here. Form up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accountability, man. Accountability. Can I go? Yeah. That's it. That was the thing that fucked me up the most, man. Is there's like all of our friends that we would meet up in the smoke pit and talk with, is they were talking so casual about it, and it fucked me up so bad, and I didn't understand that mindset of just like, okay, what's next, you know?
Yeah, that's how it hit me. It's just like, okay, well, now that that's done.
Yeah. Yeah. So we returned from deployment, and what happens with you now?
Somehow I failed 3 PT tests in Afghanistan while deployed, back to back to back, 1 by 1 push up, 1 by 1 sit up, and 1 by 10 seconds on the run.
And that gave him the paper trail to adios, Khoshi. Have a good life. Thanks for the 3 deployments. Get the fuck out.
3 months maybe after we got back, I was out of the army.
I was the one to take you to do your turn into your military equipment.
Mm-hmm.
I was still a corporal at that time. I just got arrested, or that was before I got arrested. Well, that's before I got arrested for fighting old douche face over there, you know?
CIF in Germany was a lot easier to clear than CIF anywhere else.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like I didn't have half the shit I was supposed to have, but I had extra like gloves, extra whoobies, extra fucking everything. And they're like, okay, yeah, we'll take that. We'll mark that off. Yeah, go ahead.
So upon return from the last deployment and now facing getting out of the army, does the drinking increase, or what's the drug, the numbing?
I stayed drunk for about a year. It got so bad that the wife was gonna take the kids and move out. And when she told me that's pretty much when I stopped drinking so much and started smoking a lot more pot.
Yeah, and that's when we were doing the caveman challenge together, and you were working at the cash register. Yeah. So that was about 2015.
Yeah. No, 2014.
Okay, end of 2014.
Mid to late 2014.
Yeah, late 2014 then. Yeah. And then so then you and your wife end up splitting up, or you get out of the army, and what happens to you? Where do you go?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, and what's the next steps for life or reintegration into the civilian life?
Well, I didn't know that I had compensation and pension that I could collect. I didn't know how to start that. I didn't know how to start my GI Bill. I didn't know how to do any of that until like maybe a month afterwards. Um, Once I found all that out, yeah, we found out we could have kept the Jeep that we bought in Germany and we could have paid it off really quick. Uh, I got into school for HVAC. Did that for 6 years in
And
South Carolina.
for the layman, what does that mean?
Heating and air.
Heating and air. Okay.
I was an installer.
Okay. And then
Um,
what was the climax that ended that pretty much broke the camel's back with the wife?
Me being home and not being in the field every other month or being deployed, or me being an asshole and being drunk. Um,
So you drove her away,
Pretty much.
pretty much. See, that's a thing that people don't understand is that when people, even if you don't experience combat or anything, but you see fucked up shit, it doesn't even have to be combat related mental illness. Is when you go through something like that, it puts your brain into hyper mode, and everything's running at 100 miles per hour all the time, even your emotions. And more times than not, your emotional center in your brain will take over, and yeah, that controls you. That'll run you until you kill yourself or you get help for it. So you guys split up, and then how long until you moved to the old Tejas?
We legally split in 2015, and I moved to Texas in mid 2019.
And then we're getting back in contact after this, and we're building our friendship back up. And then so you're working HVAC still in Texas, still drinking, still having some troubles. Now you're caught with a dream and a job that's just gonna make you install fucking ACs the rest of your life. And how do you get to that conclusion?
But I was making twice as much here. Like I was making anywhere from $1,800 to $2,400 a week.
Holy shit, dude! I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, until October when they said, "Hey, summer's over. We don't need you anymore."
And then is that when you decided to go to school?
Nope, that's when I was started working for Amazon. I was a delivery guy.
Yeah. How long did you do that?
About a year. Or I did delivery for 6 months, and then I worked the warehouse for 6 months, making about 400 a week.
Doing fucking peasant work for peanuts. And then you got sick of that, and then you were like, "Fuck it, I need to do something else."
Yeah. Friend of mine decided to say, "Hey, why don't you try EMT?" I gave it a thought, and I pushed it off and pushed it off. And one day I just got dead ass tired of delivering and working at fucking Amazon. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go sign up for this. So the first time I went through the course, I was still working at Amazon, school and work and those long hours and delivering and fucking warehouse. It was killer. I missed passing by 1.5% on my final grade, on my final GPA.
I was a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, but luckily the GI Bill will pay for a second go around. Second go around, I made a 95 ending average. Aced all the tests, all the quizzes. I should have. I've already been through it once.
And now what's your path that you're on now?
I am an EMT in an ER at a hospital. I'm a tech, so I hand stuff to nurses. I help the nurses out. I hook the patients up to the monitor that shows, their breaths, their heart rate, their SpO2, stuff like that. I run people to and from CT. I do CPR when it's needed. I'm the first. I'm supposed to be like the first one on the chest before anybody else.
That's heavy responsibility right there.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's I look forward to going into work every fucking day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But now
First
that
job I've
you
ever had like that.
yeah, uh, now that you definitely have a path in or a career field or a quote unquote purpose in life through job, is there future goals to this? Do you plan on going to school more? Do you plan on getting more certificates? And
Yeah. At first, when I finished EMT, I was trying to get on with care flight because I wanted to be up on that bird. Uh, I was told it'd take 5 to 7 years to actually get up there. Because you have to have that much experience. You got to be really good at this, really good at that. So when I had that in mind, I was going to go back to school for paramedic and then paramedicine. So paramedic, you can administer like 6 or 8 drugs. Paramedicine, you could administer 60. So I'm like, okay,
okay,
that's my path. Care flight turns me down. So then this next hospital sends me a message, says, hey, you have an interview on this date. As soon as I click on or I sign in for the interview, dude tells me, okay, so you're going to come in these days. This is what it's like. Can you think you can handle that? And when can you start? I said, tomorrow, fucking as soon as possible. I'll work nights, weekends, holidays, whatever.
yeah. So it sounds like you're on the right path finally. After what? How many years after the military did it take you to find a fucking purpose?
I got out in 2013. It is now 2021. What is that? 7, 8 years? Holy shit.
It took me 6, man. 6 after the military to get my shit together. Well, 6 in 2 mental hospitals, but
I went through many bottles.
so is that still this will be the last question, Khoshi, and then we'll wrap it up. Are you still dealing with your emotions through drinking and numbing?
I don't deal with my emotions. I drink them. Yeah, I like to say that I don't have a drinking problem. I have a drinking solution.
All
And
right.
I know that's bad. I know it's bad.
It is
but
bad.
That I don't like dealing. The only emotion that I can do well is anger.
That's all of us. That's all we can do is anger. But that's the awesome thing about therapy and shit like that is that it'll suck that anger out of you. But more people, it's because of the stigma that we have on therapy that only the weak need help. I'm a man. I don't show emotion. It's like you ain't fucking John Wayne, bitch. You're gonna fucking die. But I don't know, man. Does it scare you sometimes how much you drink?
How much I drink? No. How I get when I drink as much as I drink? Yeah.
And how do you get?
Blackout for a few days at a time. Wake up in strange places every once in a while. Well, not strange places. I mean, I know the people that live there, but I wind up with bruises on me. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Scratches everywhere.
If you could, this will be the last question, Khoshi. If you could do it all over again, the army, the career path that you took from engineer to truck driver, and then whatever, would you still do it the same way, or would you change anything?
If I changed anything, it wouldn't lead me to where I am now. But there are parts of where I am now. That's a hard question.
It's very hard.
I mean, a lot of me wants to say yes. I would change stuff, and I would keep some things. But the other part of me says no, that I wouldn't change any of it. I've got a lot of regrets. I've got a lot of regrets. A lot of regrets.
Regrets, dude. Regrets. All righty, Khoshi. Thank you for coming on, man. Sorry, I know you just got off of work. You did pull the nights and asked you to do an hour podcast after that. Sorry about that. And thanks, man. I love you.
And I'm back tonight.
Oh, and you're back on it tonight. Well, enjoy. Stay safe. Get home all right. Yeah. Thanks for doing the
Yes,
show,
sir.
man. I love you, man.
Yeah. Love you too.
All right, later.
Bye.